Hey there, fellow drivers. Imagine waking up one morning to discover you need to retake your driving test not because you did anything wrong, but simply because you've reached a certain age. Shocking, right? Well, that's exactly what's happening across the United States starting August 2025, and it's causing quite a stir among our senior community. Before we dive deep into this groundbreaking new legislation, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on the latest news affecting senior drivers across America. Picture this: your 70-year-old parent, who's been driving perfectly fine for the past 50 years, suddenly needs to prove they're still capable of handling a vehicle. It's a scenario that's becoming reality for millions of American seniors, and today, we're going to break down everything you need to know about these new medical driving tests. But first, let's address the burning question on everyone's mind: why now, and why is this happening? The implementation of these new medical driving tests comes as a response to recent statistics showing a concerning uptick in accidents involving drivers over 70. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's latest data, there's been a 30% increase in accidents involving senior drivers over the past decade. But here's where it gets interesting: is age really the determining factor, or are we perhaps looking at this all wrong? These new regulations, set to roll out nationwide starting August 2025, will require all drivers aged 70 and above to undergo comprehensive medical evaluations before renewing their licenses. But don't panic just yet. This isn't about taking away anyone's independence. Instead, think of it as a proactive approach to ensuring everyone's safety on our roads. The question is, what exactly will these tests involve, and how can seniors prepare for them? Let's talk about the nitty-gritty details of these medical evaluations. The testing process will be quite thorough, covering everything from vision and hearing assessments to cognitive function and physical mobility tests. But here's something many people don't realize: these tests aren't designed to be pass or fail in the traditional sense. Instead, they're meant to identify specific areas where drivers might need additional support or modifications to their driving habits. The medical evaluation will start with a basic physical assessment, including blood pressure monitoring, vision testing, and hearing evaluation. But here's where it gets more detailed: seniors will also undergo reflexes testing, range of motion assessments, and cognitive screenings. These tests will evaluate reaction times, decision-making abilities, and spatial awareness, all crucial skills for safe driving. But what happens if someone doesn't meet all the criteria? Well, that's where things get interesting. One of the most innovative aspects of this new program is its focus on adaptation rather than restriction. If a senior driver shows some limitations in certain areas, they won't automatically lose their license. Instead, they might be recommended for specific driving modifications or restrictions. For example, someone with slightly reduced night vision might receive a daytime-only restriction, while others might be limited to driving within a certain radius of their home. The question is, how do you feel about these targeted restrictions versus a one-size-fits-all approach? The cost of these evaluations has been a hot topic of discussion. The federal government has allocated funds to subsidize these tests, making them more accessible to seniors on fixed incomes. The base evaluation is expected to cost between $100 and $200, with potential additional costs for specialized assessments if needed. However, many insurance companies have already announced plans to cover part or all of these expenses, recognizing the long-term benefits of preventing accidents. But is this cost justified, and who should ultimately bear the responsibility for these expenses? One fascinating aspect of these new regulations is the technology being incorporated into the testing process. Virtual reality simulators will be used to assess driving capabilities in various scenarios, from heavy traffic situations to adverse weather conditions. These high-tech evaluation tools can provide more accurate assessments of a senior's driving abilities while eliminating the risks associated with road testing. But does this technology truly capture real-world driving conditions, and how reliable are these virtual assessments? The implementation timeline is another crucial aspect to consider. The rollout will begin in August 2025, but it won't happen overnight. States will have different implementation schedules, with some beginning immediately and others phasing in the requirements over 6-12 months. This gradual approach aims to prevent overwhelming testing facilities and give seniors ample time to prepare. But how can you know when it's your turn, and what should you do to get ready? Something that's not being widely discussed is the appeal process. Every state will have a system in place for seniors who wish to contest their evaluation results. This process will include the option for a second opinion and the ability to demonstrate improvement after completing recommended driving courses or medical interventions. But how fair is this system, and what are the chances of successfully appealing a decision? The impact on senior independence is perhaps the most sensitive aspect of these new regulations. Many seniors rely on driving to maintain their social connections, attend medical appointments, and handle daily tasks like grocery shopping. Recognizing this, the legislation includes provisions for alternative transportation solutions in cases where driving privileges need to be restricted. But is this enough to maintain seniors' quality of life, and what more could be done to support their mobility needs? There's also an interesting psychological component to these new requirements. How do you tell someone who's been driving for 50+ years that they need to prove their ability to continue? The legislation includes funding for counseling services and support groups to help seniors navigate this transition. But is this addressing the real issue, or are we perhaps focusing too much on age and not enough on individual capabilities? Looking at international examples, similar programs in countries like Japan and Sweden have shown promising results in reducing accident rates while maintaining senior mobility. These countries have implemented graduated licensing systems for seniors, which have become models for the U.S. program. But can these international successes be replicated in the unique context of American driving culture and infrastructure? The role of family members in this process cannot be overlooked. The new regulations encourage family involvement in the evaluation process, allowing relatives to provide valuable context about a senior's driving habits and overall health. But this raises some interesting questions about family dynamics and the potential for conflicts when discussing sensitive topics like driving capability. One particularly innovative aspect of the program is the introduction of driving wellness checks, voluntary assessments that seniors can take before reaching the mandatory testing age. These preliminary evaluations can help identify potential issues early on, allowing for proactive interventions and adjustments. But how many people will actually take advantage of these voluntary checks, and should they be incentivized somehow? The medical community's response to these new requirements has been mixed. While many healthcare providers support the initiative's safety goals, there are concerns about the additional workload and the complexity of making definitive assessments about driving ability. This raises an important question: who is truly qualified to make these potentially life-changing decisions? Technology companies are already developing new tools and applications to help seniors maintain their driving skills and prepare for these evaluations. From smartphone apps that test reaction times to in-car systems that monitor driving patterns, these innovations could help seniors stay on the road safely for longer. But are these technological solutions accessible and user-friendly enough for the senior population? Education and preparation will be key components of this new program. Community centers and senior organizations across the country are already planning workshops and training sessions to help older drivers prepare for these evaluations. But is enough being done to spread awareness and ensure everyone has access to these resources? The potential impact on the insurance industry is another fascinating aspect of these new regulations. Some insurance companies are already announcing premium reductions for seniors who successfully complete these evaluations, while others are developing new coverage options specifically designed for this age group. But will these changes really benefit seniors, or are they just another way to segment the market? Looking ahead, these regulations could set a precedent for how we approach driving safety across all age groups. Some experts are already suggesting that similar evaluations could benefit drivers of all ages, particularly those with medical conditions that might affect their driving ability. But is age-based testing the right approach, or should we be looking at capability-based assessments for everyone? As we wrap up this discussion, it's clear that these new medical driving tests for seniors represent a significant shift in how we approach road safety and senior mobility. While there are certainly challenges to address and questions to answer, the goal of keeping everyone safe on our roads while maintaining senior independence is one worth pursuing. What are your thoughts on these new requirements? How would you handle this situation if it affected you or your loved ones? Remember to share this video with anyone who might be affected by these new regulations, and don't forget to leave your comments below. Your experiences and opinions matter, and they could help others navigate this important change. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.